Hey guys, we're back. We've got ourselves another item here. We've got one from BCW. That's right, good old BCW. Got this sent over to me. The Spectrum Prism. This is like a mini clamshell deck box that is from BCW. As you can see, there's a little label right there at the bottom. And we're going to take a look at this, and we're going to see if it's actually any good. Now, most of the deck boxes that I look at lately have been stuff sort of like this. Oops, I got stuff sticking to my deck box there. Stuff like this, where it's more of a commander-style type of deck box, or maybe even something bigger like this. So you got these much larger deck boxes here, but of course this one, comparatively, whole different thing. As you can see, it is a much different size here. This is a much smaller deck box. And this is obviously not a commander-style deck box. This is more of a deck box that I imagine would probably go for a game like Yu-Gi-Oh!, where the cards overall are a little bit smaller, the decks are a little bit smaller at 40 cards. And so I think that's where this particular type of deck box is going to excel. Now, I don't have a pre-made 40-card deck from Yu-Gi-Oh!, but I do have a smaller World of Warcraft deck that's 60 cards, and I have it broken up into 30 card sections here. So we're going to probably just take these and put them in here and see how they fit. And this thing says it does do 50 count. And let's flip it on over. It says polished translucent shell, secure snap, stores 50 double-sleeved cards. So the capacity should be there. Fits standard-sized cards and a horizontal in orientation. So yeah, BCW, they have not always been the most affordable brand, but as far as their quality goes, they are usually at least pretty good. So I do have high hopes for this. It is a little bit of a different deck box. Wow, how do I open this up? I don't really want to destroy this box, but I think I may not have a choice here. Oh, there we go. Okay, it did come out. Excellent. Yeah, I don't want to destroy this box unless I have to, although it is still glued. There we are. I guess this isn't the best side to open it from because it's got this little plastic part here. Oh well, please don't tear. There we are. Okay, so now I can at least put the box back together. That works. Okay, there we are. Wow, okay. So there is the deck box. All right, so yeah, it is very purple. It's got kind of a marbled look to it. It's got Spectrum right there on the bottom. Not sure how clear that comes out on camera, but it is kind of etched into the plastic here. Definitely a thicker type of plastic. It's also got prism, and not sure how well this comes out on camera, but these two little slots right here do kind of go into the plastic a little bit. And I imagine if I just give it a little squeeze, it should just come right out just like that. Okay, awesome. So yeah, there it is. It's more of a clamshell design where you just kind of stick it on top of each other. And again, the plastic itself, it is fairly sturdy. It does have a tiny bit of flex to it, but not that much. Yeah, same thing here. Tiny bit of flex. The one thing I've noticed in the past, though, about deck boxes like this, where they have a firmer type of plastic instead of something like this from Ultra Pro, where it's a very kind of flexible, malleable almost type of plastic, these are a little firmer, and they do have their benefits. My big fear with these tends to be that if you take this deck box, you fill it up, you snap it closed, and if it gets dropped on a harder surface from a decent amount of distance, like say you're just walking with this and it slips out of your hand and it hits the floor in a non-carpeted area, or even a carpeted area where the carpet itself is kind of low pile, doesn't have a lot of, softness to it or a lot of cushion under it, it is possible that something like this hits the floor with that extra weight from the cards in it and it just cracks or breaks. That's been a big fear with these types of deck boxes here. So I haven't really even looked at many of these or even recommended them, but I wanted to at least give this a try. The clamshell design itself feels okay. It does snap into place. It does look like it has these two little bumps right here on both sides, so that when you do put the top on it, it actually does snap into place. Now, of course, over time that is going to wear out, but hopefully by then you will have at least gotten your money's worth out of it. So there's to open that. And then, of course, there's two little notches on the inside on both sides here where those little things are going to slide into place. And again, when you slide it in, it does kind of sort of snap into place, holds pretty well. Oh, well, there we go. Okay. I had to put a pretty decent amount of force on it, so it's not that bad. Okay, so not so bad. It does hold onto it firm enough. It doesn't just slide out, as you can see. Yeah, see, and fool around with this quite a bit, and it's fine. It's when you really put some pressure on it, then it'll come loose. Okay, so it says, where's my packaging again? It says 50 double-sleeved cards. I don't have any double-sleeved cards here, but I do have some single-sleeved. And here is our World of Warcraft deck. This is 30 cards right here. We'll start with just 30, just so you can kind of get an idea of what this looks like. And there you go. Plenty of room there still for 30 single-sleeved. Let's go ahead and bring the other half out here, and I will also bring my divider. And let's slide that in here. And again, these are standard-sized cards, single-sleeved. You do still have a little bit of extra room in there. Not much, though. In fact, let me break out some of my commander cards. And let's see how many more I can stuff in there. Let me grab... There we are. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. We'll do 10 cards. And I imagine, well, this might actually be a really tight fit at 10. Can I get 10 in there? Yes. Okay. So, and again, you have to take into account this does have the, I believe this is a 0.5 millimeter divider that I have in there. And this right here is a total of 70 single-sleeved cards. So you could technically probably put 71, maybe 72 in here. But that one, it's a very snug fit. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could probably slip in another card. But at that point, it's going to be a very, very tight fit. Now, just the cards itself and this divider, can we get this thing closed up? And that is a yes. So even if your cards are a little bit wider, or if you do use a divider, it looks like this will accommodate that extra space there. I'm not sure how clear you can see that blue divider in there, but it does hold it up. And wow, this does feel, once you get the deck in there, this feels pretty dense. Actually feels pretty dense. Let's see, can I get this to come off? Just a bit of shake. Now, the cards in there do fit pretty snug. They don't move around like something like a deck box like this. You could hear them moving around. This one, barely any movement. It does have some, but not as much as your kind of more traditional standard deck box from modern times right now. So the clamshell does hold stuff into place. Let me see. Well, I get this thing to open up with 70 cards in there. Yeah, that clamshell's holding. Yeah, that thing is really holding there. It is coming out a little bit, but it's still holding. Those little nodules that are set in the plastic there are actually doing their job pretty darn well. So yeah, you would have to really shake this sucker about to get it to let loose there. So actually pretty darn good, all things considered. All right, so let's open this back up. Come on, there we are. Okay, so again, as you can see, it is a very tight fit, very snug. Doesn't have a lot of play. It does have a little bit, but not a lot. So it is a very tight fit. Again, I would say if you're going to be playing, I mean, if you really wanted to, you could put a Pokemon deck in this. You could put a standard Magic the Gathering deck in this, 60 cards, and it will fit just fine. You could probably even put in some extra tokens or damage counters or something like that, as long as they're about the same size as a card. Because again, this is 70 cards here total. It is a little bit of a snug fit, but you can fit them in there. Let me take out the extra cards now. Let's see, is that the last of the extras? No. Okay, so that right there is just the 60 cards. So yeah, regular standard Magic the Gathering deck or a Pokemon deck, standard size single-sleeved, fits in there just fine. So I imagine if you were a Yu-Gi-Oh player and you were looking for a deck box to house your 40-card deck, a 15-card side deck, and then maybe some tokens or some fusions or something like that, or link monsters, you could probably fit them all in this one single little capsule deck. So that in itself is a good solution. Again, it's big enough to house standard size cards, but if you were only doing the Yu-Gi-Oh style cards, yeah, they fit in there obviously just fine, because they are a bit smaller overall. So yeah, I would say if you're a Yu-Gi-Oh player, this actually might be a pretty decent little solution here. Yeah, I can imagine being a Yu-Gi-Oh player and wanting to keep things kind of small. How is this compared to the old school Ultra Pro decks? Wow, that's actually really, really close. as far as size. Look at how wide that is. Yeah, look at that. You know, and as far as how wide it is, how wide here, it is slightly wider than the old school Ultra Pro deck. Just ever so slightly wider. Well, I guess in this case it'd be taller because this is the upside right here. This is the top. So yeah, I mean, it's about round about the same size. It's not the exact same size as an old school Ultra Pro, but it's a pretty darn close. You know, pretty darn close. So if you were looking to, you know, carry 4 or 5 decks like this in your bag and not, you know, always go with these, you know, larger commander style decks, or even something like this, or as I'd shown earlier, something like this, if you're looking to kind of save some space there, this is actually a pretty decent little solution. It really is. I can really see somebody who is a little bit more on a budget, doesn't want to go for the larger deck boxes, go for something like this, and still get some pretty good use out of it. The color itself, the design, pretty attractive. It's got that kind of marbled look to it, and it is a bit translucent. It's not completely transparent, as you can see, but it is translucent, so you can kind of look in and you can see what card is right there on the front. Like, I can clearly see that's Jaina. So even if you just wanted to pick it up and be like, which deck is this? Oh, okay, and then you can see the card there on the front, and you can possibly know what deck is on the inside. I gotta say, BCW, this is actually pretty good. It's pretty darn good. I don't remember the price off the top of my head that they're asking right now, but I would say, again, if you're a Yu-Gi-Oh player, this is definitely something you want to at least take a look at. Because, again, its compact size and the fact that it can house a full 40-card deck, an extra 15-card side deck, and also some tokens and some fusion/link monsters, all that, this is a pretty good solution. If it can fit 70 single-sleeve standard-size cards, it can definitely fit 70 Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So yeah, with your fusion deck, your tokens, and your sideboard, I think you should be able to fit it all in here. That's actually a pretty good solution. So yeah, if you're a Yu-Gi-Oh player, I definitely recommend this. If you're a Pokemon or Magic the Gathering player that usually only does about 60 to 75 cards total with your overall deck makeup, that includes obviously your deck and your sideboard, then this may actually work for you. I would say it's more akin, or it would probably be a little more friendly to our Pokemon players than it would to Magic the Gathering players, because Magic the Gathering tends to have a lot more tokens and that sort of thing. So I guess if you wanted to, you could give it a try for that. I would think it's more akin to, it's probably going to work better definitely for Yu-Gi-Oh players, and possibly for Pokemon players too. So yeah, there it is. That is the, where is this thing again? It is the Spectrum Prism from a good old BCW. Yeah, I would say this gets a recommendation from me. If you're looking for something that's smaller, more compact, you know, like I said, the one worry I would have is if you drop this thing from a decent enough distance and it hits a hard floor, chances are it may crack. I obviously don't know for certain, but based on my experience with these types of plastics that are a bit sturdier, there is that chance that it does break, whereas something like this, obviously, because it is so flexible, it's going to hold up to that drop a little bit better. So you do have to take that into account whenever you're buying a product like this. But I would say this is actually a buy. I would still recommend this. Just be a little more careful, you know. if you're gonna be moving around with this deck box, just, you know, stick it in your backpack or something, and hopefully it doesn't get smashed up against something too hard, and you should be just fine. So yeah, thanks for checking out the video, guys. I really appreciate it. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, share all the this information with all of your friends. Let them take a look at the video. Again, I will leave an affiliate link down in the description for this particular product. If you do use that link to purchase this product, or any other product for that matter, I do get a little bit of a kickback, so full disclosure. And again, I did get this sent over to me for free in exchange for a review. Full disclosure there as well. Thanks for watching the video, guys. We'll see you next time.